there was somebody sitting on her.
Right.
So you only got the one boob.
You know what's terrible is we start every episode talking about boobs.
Well, that's
Haven't
great.
scored yet, so.
Oh,
Hold your boob talk then.
yeah, it is every episode. Man, my note for the first scene is just this scene in all caps. What's that guy's name? Shit, what's his name?
Edmure? Her brother?
Yeah, no, not... Is he her brother?
The guy that fucks the arrow shoot?
Yeah, that's her
Our
brother?
picture?
Oh, okay, that's right.
Catelyn's brother.
Okay. And what's his name? Edmure? Edmure? Okay.
And then Braden Blackfish is her uncle.
Right. Yes, her father's brother.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, the Blackfish.
That guy was a knob.
The Blackfish or Edmure?
No, Edmure.
Edmure, I can't hit a fucking boat.
Well, I mean, hold on. That's not an easy shot.
Are we recording now?
Well, okay, well, yes. All right, so what is up, everybody? Welcome to Rabble of Thrones. This week, we're going to talk about the episode Walk of Punishment. So we're just discussing the opening scene of this episode.
Yes.
Where we see a boat with Catelyn's father and some, like, kindling in it. They're going to obviously set it ablaze. And I guess the way they do this is they launch the boat into the river, and then you shoot an arrow and hit the boat, and it catches on fire, and that's the funeral.
A funeral pyre, if you will.
Right. So Tyler's like, oh, this guy sucks because he takes 3 shots and misses all 3.
Well,
Now-
and of course, the Tullys are going to be lame. Like, this is our first introduction to the Tullys.
Right.
Yeah.
Of course they're lame.
They have to be lame.
They have to be lame. There's one cool guy,
Right.
and everyone else is lame.
Everyone else sucks.
Ugh.
Now, like, I'm not saying I could make this shot,
Right.
right? But if you're given the duty at a funeral
Yeah.
Duty.
to do this,
Duty.
duty. God damn. Back to grade 4, everybody.
Why would you be giving poo at a funeral, Tyler?
I know, right? What the hell's wrong with you? If you're given this job
Right.
Oh.
Task.
task, don't you think? I don't know. You've probably got some pretty good aim.
Practiced, maybe.
Yeah. Like,
You don't think this was just bestowed upon him as the eldest son?
but even still, like Catelyn and Robb were probably a week away, right? Like they
Yeah.
weren't close by.
Yeah.
Right.
So like you've got a little bit of time to practice. Like you should know you're doing this.
I'm with Tyler on this. He should have practiced.
Like I get it. It's good for the show. It was funny.
Yeah.
It made him look like a dumbass. But
So
come on.
the first one misses, and the worst part is the further away it gets, the harder the shot becomes.
And then his
and-
dad just goes, you know what? And I love
No, it's his uncle.
His uncle.
his uncle, whatever. It was kind of like bow drop.
Pushes
Doesn't
him
even
away.
bother looking back. Just
He
fires the
shoots
shot.
it, hands him the bow, and walks away. And then,
Doesn't even hand him the bow, just kind of tosses it to him.
yeah,
Doesn't even look. Doesn't even look to see that it's gonna make it.
he knows it's gonna make it because he's that good.
He's the one cool Tully.
The one cool Tully. So after that amazing opening scene, like I can't think of an opening scene that was that like fun. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
that's like
It was funny.
Yeah, and
we
it
learned
was-
about the Tullys.
Right, we
and
learned a
that
lot.
they're lame.
Yeah, we learned a lot from just that little snippet.
Yeah.
So we go inside, and Edmure is his name, and he's going on about how he captured the mill from the mountain.
I completely missed this part the first time.
Right.
Like, the significance of this scene.
Right, because so he's like, yeah, we totally captured it, and the mountain's
He's
gone.
super proud.
Right, and he's like, I did a great fucking thing, and Rob's like, I told you to fucking wait. I told you to wait, and he's like, no, but I got I did the thing.
I did the thing.
And so Rob's like, well, my plan was this: we were gonna lure him out because he's a fucking idiot, and we were gonna capture him and kill him. And now you fucked that all up.
Because things don't seem to be going super well for Rob.
Right.
The one time they did go really well, they lured Jamie into the open and captured him. So they were kind of, I totally missed this.
Yeah.
That they were going to do the same thing. And then Edmure ended just one.
He fucked it up. So he's like,
look, guys, I did it.
Well, he's like, hey, well, we got some Lannister kids. And
we got some cousins.
And Rob's like, they have my sisters. I haven't tried to get peace. Like, do you think that Tywin Lannister is gonna surrender for his what did he say? It was his father's father's brother's great grandchildren?
He didn't negotiate for his own son.
Right. So why would this matter? And then he's like, well, how many men did you lose? And he's like, oh, like 200 and something. And he's like, well, we need the men. And he's like, well, Tywin's probably lost a bunch of guys too. And he's like, we need men more than he does. So.
Thus cementing the Tullys are lame.
Yeah. and that this guy's an absolute idiot.
And I think I missed that because I think I was wowed because I find him attractive.
Right.
On the first go of the show, that I was like, "Oh, cool, he's a good guy." And
it's not all about the looks.
You're stupid.
He may be a good guy, but he's dumb.
You're dumb. And this is we learn that things aren't going super well for Rob.
Right, which is important because
I don't think we knew really before that.
No, because you're still under the impression that he's winning all the battles and he's super awesome, but like nothing's really going his way right now. And boy, is it gonna get worse.
Oh. You think things are bad now?
No, I guess some good stuff happens before that. But anyways, I don't know. We'll find out. So then we get the small council meeting.
Another great scene.
Oh my god,
a fantastic scene.
It's so Varys, Baelish, and Pycelle like walk into the room, and they're just kind of standing there, and then Tyrion shows up and kind of like looks at them, and he's like, okay, and so they start to like move towards the chairs, and Baelish like shoots in front to like get the first chair.
Tywin shows up first.
Well, he was already there. He was already in the room.
I thought he walked in anyway. Whatever.
Yeah. So Baelish is like, oh, I gotta sit right up front, right beside the teacher. So
he set it up him for people who might be just it's him at the head of the table.
Right, and then
chairs on the side.
3 chairs on the side, or 4 chairs. Sorry, 4 chairs on the side.
Yeah.
So then, was it? Yeah, it was 4. Yeah. So then, so they all sit down, and it goes Baelish, Varys, and Pycelle.
Who is the slowest motherfucker.
Right, and then Cersei walks in. And she's like, oh, well, and she just goes and grabs her own chair and puts it on the other side of the table.
Yeah. Puts it on the right side of Tywin.
So Cersei sits wherever she fucking wants. She's like, I'm the fucking queen, I can do what I want. She's not even the queen anymore. She's like Queen Regent. Doesn't even mean anything. So...
well, currently it does, because Joffrey's not of age yet.
Right. So Tyrion decides, all right, fuck all these guys, and he walks over and grabs the chair and drags it as slowly as possible and as loud as possible to the end of the table, and he parks his ass down. So first thing Tywin says is like, okay, what's going on with Jaime? And they're like, I don't know. And he's like, what the fuck are you guys talking about? You guys have thousands of spies and nobody knows anything? And they're like, oh, well, we don't really know. Yeah, we heard he escaped. Okay, so, and then they're like, well, Rob's off at his grandfather's funeral.
Do you think they know stuff? Like, does Varys know where he is and he's not saying? In hindsight being what it is.
No, I don't think. I honestly don't think so. I think at this point, Varys is still like. I think he's still feeling things out. Like I don't think he made that decision to like flop until way later on.
So he's still loyal to
yes
the crown, right? Interesting, right. Tyler. Because it's true. Like, they have bajillions of spies between them. And how do they not have any clue where he is?
I think genuinely Varys does not know.
Yeah, I think it's genuine. So he tells them that Roose Bolton is lording over Harrenhal right now, which had been promised to Baelish.
Right.
And so he's like, I don't care.
And he's like, whatever. And they make a reference like it's a piece of shit place anyways.
You just needed the title.
Right. And then so Tywin's like, well, you know what? Instead of giving you Harrenhal, what we're going to do is we're going to send you off to the Eyrie, and you're going to go and hang out with Lysa, and you'll be a lord out there. And he's like, oh, okay, that's cool. And
she's always wanted to jump my bones.
That's right. She's always wanted some of this. You know what I'm saying? She wants the gray on the sides. Who doesn't want that, right? Look at all this gray right here. Everybody wants it.
He's not bad looking.
Right.
You're
talking about me, right? Not Baelish.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, okay.
A guy once was like all over me. A guy friend. Like I didn't, because I said, no, okay. Because they said you're not bad looking.
Oh, I see. You said that to them?
Yeah, I was like, hey, because he was, trying to talk about his looks. I was like, hey, X, you're not bad looking.
Right.
And now he hasn't let me forget that.
Oh, I see.
I don't hate it.
Yeah, I don't. You're not ugly.
You're not unattractive.
But you're not
that
attractive.
It's not for me. Other people, maybe, but not for me.
I think as Baelish has such swag, I find him good looking.
Right.
I think if he played a weeder character, like Edmure Tully,
he would be less attractive.
Edmure's character is better because that actor's good looking, and Baelish is better looking because that character's good.
Okay. Gotcha.
Such is the vicious cycle of being attracted to people on Game of Thrones.
Gotcha. So then the last thing that they cover is that Tywin is naming, since Baelish is leaving, Tywin is going to name Tyrion Master of Coin. And Tyrion's like, whoa. He's like, I know how to spend money. He's like, but I being ridiculously rich, I have no idea how to manage money. So
this is so honest about it.
This is a bad idea, but okay.
Yeah. Right.
So after this, we go to Jaime and Brienne, who've been captured by what's his name? He's the Bolton
only know
dude.
Because I looked it up. His name is Locke.
Locke, right? See, and I should know that.
His name's something else in the book, so I never remember. I only knew because I looked it up.
I like the actor too. He was the manager in Almost Famous. I like that guy.
He's so deliciously evil.
Right.
Just like that evil.
Evil.
Yeah,
he's a character that in the show that, as we learn, doesn't really have any motivations beyond I'm just bad.
Just being a bad dude.
I'm just bad.
I'm just a bad dude. So they're tied up on the same horse, and they're bickering about who was winning the fight. And I don't know how Jaime has any argument. He's like, well, I haven't eaten and I have slept in shit and blah blah blah. And she's like, bro, I fucking demolished you. He's like, my hands were tied, and it's like, and she's right. It wasn't even a fight. So then Jaime's like, all right, let's get real though. So tonight, they're gonna try to rape you, and you should just let it happen. Because if you fight, they're gonna kill you. And she's like, what did she say?
Isn't she like, I'd rather die?
Right, and then he's like, well, just close your eyes and pretend it's Renly. Which is such a condescending thing to say.
That's also the worst thing you could ever say to a woman. Is it's okay, you're gonna get raped.
You're gonna get raped, but who cares?
Fight.
Who cares?
It'll be easier if you don't fight.
Yeah. And I mean, rape's not a big deal, anyways, right?
Yeah, well, not in this show.
Jeez.
And I think she said something along the lines of, Well, if you were a woman, would you just let it happen?
Yeah, and he's like, no, they'd kill me.
Yeah.
Yeah, so.
And thank God I'm not a woman.
Right. And they start this scene by singing the song The Bear and the Maiden Fair, which ties back into the end of the episode. So the Bolton dudes, obviously not Brienne and Jamie, weren't singing that.
Yeah.
So then we go to the inn where the brothers without banners and it's the Brotherhood without banners.
Brotherhood without banners.
Right. And so Gendry's like fixing the dude's armor, and Arya's like, when you're not here, when you're not here, me and Tyler don't argue about the pronunciation.
I'm not arguing. I'm just
saying
how I feel.
I gotcha. So, so Arya's like, why are you helping them? And she's like, am I a prisoner? And the guy's like, no, you're just our guest. You just got to stay with us.
Yeah, you're a guest for a long time.
Right. So then they're marching the Hound down the road, and he's talking shit about archers and saying he wants to get up close to people when he kills them. And Arya's like, hey, do you remember the last time we were at this place? He's like, nah, it looks like every other shithole inn I've ever seen. So then they load him on the cart. And obviously this is where they were when he killed the baker's boy, or butcher's boy.
What is that link? When was the last time they were there?
It was the first season.
It was the baker's boy?
Yeah.
Or the butcher's boy?
Butcher's boy. Yeah.
Come on.
We both fucked it up.
God damn it.
Sorry.
Sons of bitch. Listen to me.
So...
No.
So then, basically, he's on the cart. He bangs his head, whatever. And then Hot Pie decides that he's going to stay. Or no, he doesn't decide, but they tell him that he's staying. Right. He baked something, and they're like, yeah, it was really good. And so...
You should stay.
I do not blame him at all.
Right. And
would you like to risk dying, or
stay here?
Would you like to bake bread?
Stay here and eat. Eat. So
even
then
if I didn't know how to bake bread.
He hands her the wolf bread. Oh. And she's like, "What's this?" He's like, "It's a wolf." And she looks at it, and like Gendry's face is like priceless.
It's like, yeah, it is.
And she's like, "Oh, and this is the tail." He's like, "Yeah, okay, cool." So she gets on the horse and starts riding away. And she calls back after a second. She's like, "It's really good." So I guess he's good at baking wolf bread.
And that made his day.
Mm-hmm.
I think that made his life.
Well, it must, because that's it. We do. Oh, no. That's not true. We do see him again.
I think that's it, isn't it?
No, we see him.
Oh, in season 5, right?
Right. Yeah, Brienne talks to him. Is that the only inn in the north?
Yeah, clearly.
Okay. Because isn't that where
all the inns in all the world? There's the one.
Isn't that where Catelyn captured Tyrion as well? Yeah. I'm pretty sure it is.
I mean, why build more than one?
Who needs it?
Yeah, it's clearly on the King's Road somewhere.
So the next scene is Catelyn and Blackfish talking about her dad. I'm like, so I guess they were
lame.
What's that?
Reminding us that the Tullys are lame.
Right, and so her dad and Blackfish didn't get along from the sounds of things.
I think this scene is just to show that he's the renegade badass uncle.
He's the cool one.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
it serves no purpose aside from, apparently, and we'll get to this, I'm sure, at the end, he's going to be in season 6.
Right.
Which just introduces his character.
Spectacular.
Yeah.
Seasons early.
So... she talks about, when he would leave and say, "Oh, I'm coming back, just watch, blah, 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 blah." And, how many times did Bran and Rickon wait for me and they're dead. And so the gist is she's like, "Oh yeah, they're dead." And he's like, "Well, Robb believes that they're still alive and he needs to believe that they're still alive. So, you gotta help him believe that," or something.
I like that she kind of stopped caring about Arya and Sansa?
I don't think so.
After Jaime.
Well, they stopped being the big deal, that's for sure. It's
I guess,
more
yeah.
about
She after she let Jaime go, then it was kind of all about
Bran and
Rickon.
Yeah. So then we go to like oh yeah, Talisa tending to the Lannister boys, and you know they're like, is it true what they say? And she's like, oh, that they turns into a wolf. Oh yeah, that's true. And she's like, oh, you don't.
I think the only purpose of this scene was just to show that they're sweet, innocent boys.
Yeah, that's right. Because they were.
And she's lame.
And she,
yeah, la-di-da-di-da.
Yeah. Oh, is it a full moon? Because he only eats little boys on a full moon, which is like weird.
Okay, then you're safe.
Yeah, you're fine.
Stupid.
No, it's just I think again, hindsight. Spoiler. Next episode.
Yeah, this is all set up for the next episode.
This is all just like, oh, they're sweet, innocent.
Yeah.
Adorable.
Yeah. Until Karstark gets a hold of them. So we go north of the wall, and Mance and Jon Snow and the
Thormund.
crew, yes, your boy, come across a shitload of dead horses and sprawled out
nice little pretty pattern.
in a spirally like pattern, and they're like, they look to the warg and they're like, you said there were dead crows. Where are they? And he's like, well, they were here. So you assume that they're all zombies now.
Oh god.
They're all zombies. And so Mance is like, well, you know, if Mormont's dead or alive, it doesn't matter. He made a huge mistake coming this far north. Like, they lost a shitload of dudes.
Yeah, if he's still alive, he's not gonna have anyone left.
And so Mance is like, this is the time we're attacking now. Like, this is what we're starting now. So he's like, take 20 dudes, climb the wall, wait for my signal, and then when we're gonna attack. And they're like, well, what's the signal? And
we're gonna light the biggest fire the North has ever seen.
Right, he says it like that, but really it's like, I'm just gonna light a big fire. Just watch for a fire. It'll be big.
Yeah, but you gotta say it dramatically, though.
I guess, but
I mean, come on.
It's
gonna be
now
the biggest
again
fire the North has ever seen.
Hindsight, can you say that dramatic again, Tyler? That was really well acted.
Yeah, no, it was awful.
Yeah, you just kind of didn't change the tone of your voice at all.
Whatever do you mean?
No, that was pretty good. I'm getting some real anger here now. So again, hindsight being 2020, because that's kind of the point of the show, is we've all seen the episodes and now we're watching it with a different perspective. Because we kind of learn later on that they're attacking just to get the fuck away from the White Walkers. Like, they're kind of just as scared.
Right.
Yeah.
But I feel like they didn't, I don't know, the change seems a little abrupt now.
What do you mean? Which change?
Like, between this episode is like, okay, they're just attacking the Night's Watch because they're dicks and want to attack.
I don't think that was necessarily the case.
Advantage
No, I think it was all. No, it's always been we need to get south of the wall. We need to, when the shit goes down, we need to not be here.
So that's why was it always attack? Why didn't Mance Rayder
because they're not going to get through. Like, the Night's Watch aren't going to let them through. Hey,
Mance Rayder could have brokered some kind of peace with Mormont.
No way.
No, not with Mormont.
No way.
No way.
So they're gonna climb, and he tells them specifically, like, hey, you take fucking Jon Snow here, and
proof
if he's
his loyalty,
right, if he's good, he's good. If he's bad, throw him off the wall.
Let's see if crows can fly.
That's right. Let's see if they can fly. The crew arrives back at Craster's, and Craster's his usual hospitable self.
Yeah, and such a nice guy.
Man, just such a dick. And then I think this is the first time we see the dude that was on Torchwood, not Deadwood, Torchwood. What's that dude? Anyways, the dude who leads the rebellion.
Yeah. I forget his name too.
Yeah, so we see him for the first time, and he's like eyeing the girls, and they're all eyeing the girls, and he's like, Crasher's like, don't fucking look at the girls. And then he's talking about the pig. Oh, because the girl, there's a girl like screaming in the background. Obviously, she's giving birth, or at least that's the assumption. So we hear her wailing like continuously, and he's like, "Oh, this pig over here gave birth to like 8 babies and didn't even grunt." And then he makes reference to like, "Oh, you guys, like look at this guy. He's fatter than the pig." Points at Sam, and he's like, "You guys should just eat him.
Eat the fat guy.
Eat the fat guy. Carve off what you need, and
Lord of the Flies.
Yep." So Sam obviously starts crying and leaves. And he goes outside and he goes towards the wailing, and sure enough, it's Gilly who's having her baby. And surprise, surprise, it's a boy.
The boy. Oh.
And we know what Craster does to the boys.
You know what that is.
Yeah.
Off the forest with you.
So then we go to Theon, bag over his head, and the nice boy comes in and sets him free. Like, oh, you're going to need to be able to ride. Like, can you ride? He's like, yeah, I'll be fine. Okay, cool. So he gets him up. Scene was kind of quick, too. It was just kind of like done. So, okay, so then the next scene is Melisandre leaving Stannis. Stannis is so desperate in this scene.
Yeah.
Like, this is Stannis at the lowest I think we ever see him.
Is this lower than when he chokes her at the end of last season?
Yes.
Or the first episode of this season?
No, this is way lower.
Like
This is worse?
Oh, yeah, because he's like... Yeah, and he's like, give me another son. And she's like, no, you can't do it. You're not strong enough. And he's like, no, come on. Like,
that's not how shadow babies work.
You said that I was going to be the king. And she's like, you will be. I just have to go do this thing.
I gotta go find some young boy with your blood.
Right, because she says, he said, your magic works from king's blood. And she's like, well, you're not the only person with your blood running through their veins. So, okay, so then we go to...
How does she know? I guess that's proof of her powers or whatever. Like, how does she know about Gendry?
How does she know?
Gendry.
How does she know? Because do we believe? Because even she said like her powers are like tricks and stuff.
Yeah.
Like,
well, she either has spies herself or she has powers.
Well, but there's
a dude there that's the Lord of Light, and like he's one of those priests of the light or whatever, right?
But how would he know who Gendry is?
Well,
right,
maybe
and he wouldn't know now.
I don't know.
Oh, I don't know. This is okay. So
this is something to think on. I think
definitely something to think on. So then we go to the scene that the episode was named after, the Walk of Punishment. So this is like, I guess the slaves that are bad get like crucified and left out in the sun to die.
Yeah.
And so, if you're a slave and you do something bad, they bring you here to walk along and look at what happens to you if you keep being bad.
Yeah.
So then, Barristan and Jorah are like bickering back and forth on whether, because Jorah's like, yes, the slave army's a good idea. And Barristan's like, no, we can get sellswords and this and that.
Well, Barristan thinks it's dishonorable.
Right.
Because he's like, people fought with your brother because they wanted to.
Because right. And
not
then
because we paid them.
And Jorah's like, yeah, and he fucking lost. Boom. Mic drop. So.
What up?
The other thing I like about that is Barristan refers to him as the last dragon, Rhaegar.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh, I wish I knew him, but he wasn't the last dragon. Boom. So then she goes and sees the dude selling the Unsullied, and she's like, I want to buy them all. And he's like,
nah.
He's like,
you went up for like 4.
I just love all the shit he says about her.
And you know what? Like going back and like since we're rewatching this stuff, knowing that she knows
right
what he's saying, makes it so much better.
Well, and this is such a bigger mic drop in the show, because in the books, she can understand him.
Right. See,
so it's less of a like...
And when I was watching this, the one guy I worked with, he's like, yeah, in the books, she can understand what he's saying. So I already knew that was going to be like the big reveal, is that she already like she knows what he's saying. So I knew that before, but it's still cool.
It's the native tongue of whatever she is.
Yeah.
They can't hide it in the book.
Valerian.
Yeah.
Because they say he's speaking Valerian.
Right.
So it's like, she knows that language, so they can't hide it.
So, and he's just saying some really like nasty things.
Yeah.
So then he's like, well, you know, your ship's worth 100 unsullied, so I'll give you those, and then your
Dothraki are worth.
Oh no, he's like everything else you have is worth maybe 10, but I'll give you 20, and then if you give me all the Dothraki you have, I'll give you another 3. And then he's like, how do you plan on paying for the other 8,777 or whatever it was? And she's like, I'll give you she's like, I have dragons. And that like perked him right up. He's like, oh, okay, hold on, now we're having
I'll take a dragon.
Yeah, now we're having a conversation. So he's like, he starts, he's like, I want all the dragons. And she's like, no, 1 dragon. He's like, okay, 2 dragons. And she's like, 1 dragon. And he's like, well, we get the biggest dragon. She's like, okay. And like Jorah and Barristan are just like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, you need the dragons to win the war. And then she's like, okay, and the last thing I want, you're gonna give me your little translator lady here as a gift for a deal well struck. And he agrees, and so they leave. And she gets outside and she's like, you guys are my counsel, and I appreciate that. But if you ever do that, question me in front of somebody again, you're gone.
Cut a bitch.
Yeah, you're gone. So then she talks to what's her name, Missandei, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so she talks to her.
I never remember her name.
I know, I'm brutal, but I said it. I got it.
Yeah, no, it's great. I just remember when we did the live recaps.
Yeah, they were great.
She was the name you didn't really know.
Yeah, there's lots of names I don't know.
Well.
So, yeah, so they're talking about, like, stuff, but, like, none of it was really important. Like, it was just like, oh, do you have a family? Blah, blah, blah. Like, who cares? And then at the end, she says, Vala Morghulis. And Daenerys is like, yes, all men must die. She's like, but we're not men.
Yeah.
And then there's
yeah, it's just talking, do you have a family? Oh, no, she talks about what it's like to be a slave, and she said, I offered water to one of the guys who was being crucified, and he turned it down. And Missandei was like, yeah, he'd rather die.
Yeah, because there's no masters in the grave or whatever.
Yeah, you don't have to be a slave in heaven, so he would rather you just let him die.
Right. So, all right. So then we go to Baelish is handing over all the paperwork.
Boobies.
And
the boobies.
So there's
Tyler.
There's Roz just like bent over pulling all the books out, and Podrick is just like eyes on the prize the whole time, and she's giving him the look like, I know what you're doing, but it's okay.
Yeah, you're cute.
So where are we? Okay, so and so then Baelish is like, oh, I hear you. I owe you gratitude because you got Roz released. So I'm an idiot. And I guess all of us didn't realize this, because remember we asked, like, how did she get released?
Yeah.
And so it was. They still didn't explain it, but they did in this scene because Tyrion somehow got her released.
Yeah, but then this leaves more questions for me.
Right.
Yeah, like So what did Tyrion say to get her released? Because
That's not my whore.
How did he get her released without saying, "I know you've captured a whore. This is the wrong one"?
Maybe that's all he did say. But I don't know. Again, it doesn't make sense. And then Baelish is like, well, why would the queen think that you had a special relationship with this person? And Tyrion's like, I don't know. So, yeah. So
this leaves us with this. Left me with more questions about.
way more questions.
I guess so.
Instead of just how did she get released, it was, what'd you say now?
So, okay, so they're wheeling the books out, right? Podrick's got the books, and Bronn and Tyrion are shooting the shit. Was there anything important? I can't remember if there's anything else important that Baelish said to Tyrion. No. Wasn't really, right? It was
the fact that it was more of a...
Oh, he said they're numbers. If you just think of them as numbers, you can make them behave.
Do whatever you want.
Right. But there was really nothing...
I know that you didn't have a relationship with Roz.
Yeah.
More or less, I know who your whore is.
I don't think he knows who it is.
I don't know. I think he does.
I don't think he does. I think he was fishing for it, but I don't think he knows who it is. So
I think because he knows everything about Sansa.
Yeah.
He'd wonder who this new handmaid was.
Maybe. Yeah, maybe.
I don't
know.
I think he knows.
So, all right. So then, they're wheeling the books through the brothel, and he's like, "Okay, so hey, Pod, I kind of owe you.
Come here a second.
For saving my life."
Would you guys rather is there anything else you'd rather get for Christmas?
Nope.
Than just getting railed?
Nope. Nothing at all.
We could get you a new video game.
Nope.
I could get you
Don't care.
a book you want. I could get you a nice shirt for work.
Do you see what that third girl does with her body?
I was reading because I always have the synopsis is open too, and there is a hyperlink for the Miranese knot.
Oh, is there?
And there's a Game of Thrones Wikipedia page, but it's disappointing because all it is it's a gymnastics sexual move. But the fact I could click it and it had its own
That's
link
awesome.
made me very happy.
So basically he leaves Pod in a room with 3 ladies and a bag of coins and says, "Have fun, be back in time for dinner," basically.
Yeah.
So him and Bronn piss off back to his place. And so Tyrion's going through the books and realizing that Baelish has been borrowing money. So he's been borrowing money from the Lannisters, and Bronn's like, well, his grandson's the king, so he'll probably just forgive that. And Tyrion's like, yeah, probably not, but that's not what I'm worried about. It's more that they've borrowed from the Iron Bank of Bravos. So
yeah, I was always marveled how he always came up with money, but
yeah,
he borrowed all of it.
Right. So
he's in debt to everyone.
He said tens of millions.
Well, and the best part is it's not him that's in debt; it's the crown.
Right. Yeah, he doesn't care. Baelish doesn't care at all.
And now it's not on Baelish's ass.
Delete.
Peace.
I'll fuck this up for you guys. I'll see you later.
Yeah.
So as they're having this conversation, Podrick shows up. And you do get the sense that a lot of time has passed. It's not like he was only there for 5 minutes. Yeah. So Podrick comes back in and he puts the coin purse down on the table, and Tyrion's like, "It was a gift. You were supposed to have fun." And Podrick's like, "Well, I did. They didn't
take it.
They didn't want the money." And just the puzzlement on Tyrion's face, and then Bronn's like, "Well, they're paid to like you," and Tyrion's like, "But we didn't pay them." So they pull up a chair. They're like, "All right, Podrick, have a seat. We're gonna need lots of details," and such a good scene. This episode has
it's so funny.
the best funny scenes for sure. So then we come down to our last scene. And it's Jamie and Brienne are kind of like tied up to the trees. And so Locke walks in and he's like, "All right, guys, let's get this big bitch untied. I'm gonna go first.
You guys can have my sloppy second.
You guys can finish her off." So she kind of fights, and the guys like take her off into the woods, and Jamie's like, "Hey, like, do you know who she is?" And Locke's like, "Nope." He's like, "Well, have you heard of Tarth? It's called the Sapphire Island. Every sapphire in Westeros comes from there. I'm sure that her dad would pay her weight in sapphires if she was returned unharmed, and her honor unbesmirched, I believe is the word he used.
Besmirched.
So you could see Locke like kind of like, all right, I guess I could go for that. So he tells the guys, "Hey, bring her back. No one's having any fun tonight." So then Jamie's like, he comes over to Jamie and he's like, "I bet, your dad would pay your weight in gold if you were freed." And he's like, "Yeah, like probably." And he's like, "Okay." And he's like, "Oh, if you could untie me like from the trees, like I just want to lay down, He's like, "Yeah, no problem." And he's like, "Oh, you probably want some food too." And Jamie's like, "Yeah, I'm pretty hungry." And he's like, "Yeah."
Said that, I'm like, this is going south.
He's like, "Yeah, we just happen to have an extra pheasant on the fire." He's like, "I fucking love pheasant. Let's do this." So they pull him up and they got him walking over and they bring him to a tree stump and he's like, "Hey, you think this would be good for a table for you, my lord?" And Jamie's like, "Yeah, man, it'll do." And then they fucking kick him in the back of the knee. Down he goes, hands and face on the stump. Locke takes out his knife and he's like, all you do is hide behind your dad. My dad this, my dad that. He's like, if it wasn't for him, you'd be nothing. Where's
Daddy now?
Yeah, where's your daddy now? And he's got the knife like right in his eye.
Right in his eye. That's gotta hurt.
Yeah, that's not fun. And then what does he say? Fuck. Why did I not write anything down?
You really got to write shit down.
I normally write like quotes that I want to mention, and because he says something before he chops the hand off, and I can't remember what it was.
I'm looking. This should help you remember?
Yeah, right. This should help you remember, but that I guess. Yeah. And then
they're not. I think they're not gonna like stop bargaining with me because your family's not gonna fucking deal with me. They're gonna kill me and take you, or
And then he chops his hand off, and like I remember when I watched this for the first time, and I was just like, what just happened? Like I was more shocked by this than some of the deaths that have happened in this series.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Like, just boom. And then the fucking song plays.
Yeah.
The, like, weird, kind of punk rocky. Yeah.
And I think we discussed this when we were talking about the season recap.
Yeah.
I thought this was just from a cut.
Nope.
Like, this was just a shitty bootleg that I got.
Nope.
So people that were actually watching it live from HBO... That is actually how it ends.
I watched my Blu-ray copy of the episode today.
And that's how it ends.
That's how it ends.
Yeah, I watched it on HBO, like the HBO Go.
And I always think it's a shitty download that I have.
Nope.
Like, when it's the only torrent you have and you have to deal with it because it has like Czechoslovakian subtitles on it.
Not that we condone torrenting of copyrighted materials at Rabble of Thrones, but you gotta do what you gotta do.
Season 5. I did not have HBO. We'll just put it that way.
So the song is such a weird choice, especially after that. Like, because you're just like, whoa, and then this weird punk rock version of the Bear and the Maiden Fair plays. And I'm just like, I don't even know what to think right now.
I thought it was too jarring, but I will never have the full experience of it because I always assumed it was a shitty torrent.
Right. It's like, what episode was it where it's silence? Is it the Red Wedding? Where there's no music in the credits?
Yeah, there's nothing.
And that is the perfect way for after the Red Wedding. Like, it's so perfect.
Yeah.
So another episode in the can. Any news or notes? Or...
Well, we haven't talked since.
See, you weren't around last. We talked about the trailer last week.
Oh, okay, with the creepy
but
heads.
yeah, but you can give us your 2 cents.
Oh no! It was spooky and it scared me, and I think it's HBO trolling.
Right now,
because HBO knows we know that he's not dead.
Well, no, but did you notice that it goes Ned, then Rob, then Catelyn, right? And then is it Jon Snow after that? Then Jon Snow, then Tyrion, then Daenerys.
Yeah.
Now, Jon Snow is the first, or he's either the last dead person or the first alive person.
Yes, no, it's HBO going like, we know you know, and we're still gonna fuck with you. So dead character, dead character, dead character. Oh my god, you're showing Jon Snow because he's dead.
Yeah.
Oh wait, Tyrion's not dead.
Yeah, why are you showing Tyrion? And then I'm like, wait, is Tyrion gonna die? Like, did they just spoil Tyrion? And then it's Daenerys, and I'm like, well, Daenerys isn't dying.
Or here, I'll throw this at you. Are they already dead and somebody's put their face on?
And the whole thing was just a dream.
Yeah, and then it's like Lost. They were all in purgatory.
Right?
Yeah.
And like Arya's at you see Arya at the end.
Yeah.
You see Daenerys. I think it just shows like no one's safe. And did you guys talk about the pictures from Lost?
Yes, we did.
Yeah.
And what all the pictures meant? Then yeah, I don't think I have any new news aside from because Jamie and Marjorie are still promoting movies. They're going around saying Jon Snow's dead.
Of course.
So, yes, nothing new and exciting. And I think we're just gonna get leaks and trailers and stuff now until.
Yeah. And Jamie Lannister is promoting a terrible movie that he's in.
Yeah.
Oh, it looks so bad.
It's definitely a plane or get super stoned and watch this movie. Like you watch this on a plane or you get just bombed.
Why would you watch a bad movie on a plane? I could never figure that out. I never want to watch bad movies on a plane.
My logic is I would never pay for this. So here's my opportunity to see something terrible for free.
Right.
If I'm willing to pay for it, I don't know.
Yeah. That makes sense.
And also I love good bad movies. And we know that.
Right. Well, that's good.
I'm going to see the Kitty movie with Kevin Spacey.
The Kitty movie?
Oh, this is a different podcast now.
I don't know what that is.
Oh my god, please send this around. It's basically like Marmaduke, or it's Kevin Spacey dies and he gets put in the soul of a cat.
Oh my god, this is a real thing?
This is a real thing. I believe it's called Mr. Cuddles.
Oh my god.
He owes someone money for something.
Find
the trailer. It's actually...
He lost a bet.
Yeah, he must have.
It's called 9 Lives.
9 Lives.
9 Lives.
There you go. Oh my god.
He plays a cat named Mr. Fuzzy Pants.
That's what it is. Mr. Fuzzy Pants.
Oh, well, Jennifer Garner's in it. There you go.
She's a terrible picker.
She's a what?
She's a terrible picker.
Why?
Like, she picks shitty movies.
Yeah. I guess.
What's she been in that's good aside from 13 Going on 30? And you probably haven't seen that because you guys have penises.
I have seen 13 Going on 30. You forget that I have
You're in it.
That I have a lovely wife who watches chick flicks. And I'm going to go on record. 13 Going on 30 is not a bad movie.
It's a really good movie. I like it a lot.
Okay, but we're way off base here.
Oh, yeah. We're totally.
All right. So let's hit the brakes and bring it back into Rabble of Thrones. So that's it. Everybody's done.
Yeah, no
Nothing.
news, sadly.
Nothing else? Okay, so we are on Facebook. Facebook.com/Rabble of Thrones. We are on Twitter at Rabble of Thrones. We are, you can look right above Taylor. It's got the addresses right there. We're on YouTube, youtube.com/RabblePress. You can watch all our videos. There is a Rabble of Thrones channel, or playlist. You just click that, watch all our episodes. If you want to contact us, podcasts at rabbleofthrones.com. Give us your input. Let us know what you think, and we'll talk about it on the air, I promise. But that's it for this week. All comments, good or bad.
Mentioned on air.
That's right. But that's all we got for this week, so see you guys next week.